You know, the older I get, the dumber things look around me sometimes. This idea that some of you have, bless your little hearts, you have not lived long enough to realize that communism is a complete freaking failure. I just read a review of a guy going through Cuba. He visited Cuba the other day. One of my son went to Cuba this summer. He decided that was a cool thing to do. Cuba is basically right now an armpit. It's a Caribbean nation that's been run by the Russians, and the highways look like they were carpet bombed. There's no hot water. There's no toilet seats. There's no soap and running water in most of the country. People literally go down the main highways with ox carts. This is how communism works. And yet some of you little twits that are in college still think communism's a good idea. I mean, really, you can find no tangible evidence that it has ever worked anywhere for anyone except the 3 people that run the place, and they put all the money in their pocket. But for the little man, communism has never worked. You cannot find a socialist country, a communist country, that has economically prospered for the little man, for the average person. There's no evidence, and yet people still think it's a good idea. It's interesting, man. I mean, it's the fun thing about the internet is you just get hammered with information, and some of it's true. But I was just reading this review of Cuba, which was funny because it's sad, because everybody's all enamored with Cuba this and Cuba that. And let me just tell you, dude, I mean, go to Mexico. It's a lot better. Or better than that, stay in the States. It's a whole lot better in terms, I mean, really, the Hampton Inn actually has toilet paper in it. It's an amazing thing. And most of the time, they don't steal your stuff. I mean, it's an amazing thing, this country we live in. We just take it for granted. So, you know, you got that on one hand, and then the next thing I read is this little hipster twit who says, why do people at McDonald's make less than a heart surgeon? Because we're not communists. That's the answer to the question. The only way that a heart surgeon would make the same thing as a person at McDonald's is because we're communists. We take on the communist economic form of operation, because that's the only place that says everyone makes the same amount of money. Oh, except the people in the government who run everything, and they take all the money. So let's just keep in mind, very, very wealthy people in Russia. Just a few of them, but very wealthy people. So income in capitalism, what little Twipster, whatever we call a hipster that's a twit, is saying is that's a new term. I just made up a new word. It's pretty cool. A Twipster, a twit that's a hipster. Yeah, there you go. All right. So what he's saying is that it's unfair that a heart surgeon makes more than a person at McDonald's. And I would submit to you that it would be unfair if they made the same amount, because the amount of preparation, the amount of study, the amount of years in school, the amount of dollars spent to go get that education for the heart surgeon is a bazillion times more than the person working at McDonald's. So to pay them the same after one has spent decades preparing for their career and one spent 20 seconds preparing for their career, to pay them the same would be unfair. If a man works 8 hours a day and another man works 4 hours a day, it would be unfair to pay them the same wage, to pay them the exact same amount for a day's worth of work, because one only worked a half a day. Well, we wouldn't do that. Well, it's the same thing, darling. It's the same thing. And so for wealth to be all equal in the name of it's not fair, it actually would be unfair. Because some people are prettier than others, some people are smarter than others, some people run faster than others, some people study harder than others, some people work harder than others, some people come up with better inventions than others, and so they should make more. I'm not as smart and successful as Bill Gates. But I'm not jealous of Bill Gates. I don't have his intellect. I did not change the world with the personal computer. Bill Gates changed the world, literally, with the personal computer. You can like him or not like him. You can think DOS is better. You can think Apple is better. I don't care what you. The bottom line is the guy changed the world. And so he earned his money. And then some. It would be unfair for a gal who owns one restaurant to make the same as someone who owns 10 restaurants. That would be unfair by definition. So don't tell me that wealth inequality is unfair. Of course wealth inequality is fair. It's required to be fair. Otherwise, you would never do anything, and you would be communists, and your country would run that way. You know what the unemployment rate is in Cuba, doofuses? 48%. Half the people don't work. And oh, by the way, the ones that work, they don't work. 48%. This is how communism works. Oh, the primary thing of Marxism is wealth equality, by the way. It's unfair that the little man, the governing people are going to band together and make sure that the little man is taken care of. That's Karl Marx, right? Read it. It's his manifesto. And yet we still got Twipsters believing this stuff. I guess it's just part of going to college with communist professors. I guess that's where you get that. But, I mean, you would think communist professors would be intelligent enough to actually study the data that there is no such thing as a communist socialist country that has been economically successful over an extended period of time. There is no such thing. It has never worked. And really, there's nothing much more capitalistic than a good communist, because they figure out a way to work around the system and sell something. For people that don't believe in capitalism, boy, they are capitalistic as they can be. You want to meet capitalists? Meet a Chinese. They're the most capitalist communist on the planet. They're more capitalists than capitalists are. Think about it. Don't be stupid, people. It just makes you look stupid. This is the Dave Ramsey Show.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, click the subscribe button to get the latest content and check out these other great clips from the show.